You should fuck married women. The end. No. All right, here's the thing. This episode is for all you guys that are red pill or think you're red pill or whatever, and you're looking at life, you're looking at the long life in front of you. Like, what are you going to do? And I'm going to describe what the average guy does, how they get into trouble, and how they get fucked in the end. Most people, even red pill guys. It's because of your mindset. See, guys are like, oh, no. Like, if you look at the comments recently, there's a lot of comments like, you shouldn't fuck married women. It causes this, it causes that. And I can understand that. And here's the other thing. Here's the disclaimer, is I'm not saying don't have morals. And that's what a lot of guys will hear. They'll hear like, oh, scumbag. Did you feel that when you heard it, right? You might have felt that. And I want you to listen to this in full with your knowledge of red pill and the world. Okay, and I want you to really reevaluate things, because if you don't, it's these kind of things that are going to trip you up, right? They're going to trip you up. Because to be honest, most guys, they won't do certain things, but then they will do even worse things because they don't understand women. And they'll do things that are even more destructive, right? Fucking married woman is not necessarily destructive, at all. But there are times when you can really fuck a relationship, or you can fuck people's lives up, right? So I'm going to talk about all the subtleties, and basically whores, handjob girls, massage girls, all the things, escorts, everything that you are now thinking. Like, you're thinking, well, I'm not going to get married, and so what do I do? What do I do with the rest of my fucking life? Like, are you a monk? Like, even the monks are not monks. Most monks are like 3 months monks, and then later they say, I used to be a monk and stuff like that, right? Because it's not natural, So, okay, so when you go red pill, right, I don't even know where to go on this because it's so deep, right? So deep. But like, do you believe in marriage? Like, do you believe that God ordained marriage? That you have the one, the only, and you have to find her? Like, do you believe that? Some guys are going to believe that, right? Do you believe in the fairy, what was that? The tooth fairy. Do you believe that your tooth, you take it out, you put it on your pillow, tooth fairy comes, gives you a quarter? Do you believe, I mean, really, I don't know. Maybe some people believe in that. I don't know. Okay, so the idea is you're sold in life, right? What do you believe, right? So, married women, how long do average marriages last? What's the average? I think it's 8 years. 7 years. So the average marriage lasts 7 years. Okay, I've had a lot of girlfriends over 10 years. Yeah. Like, I have girls who have had for 10 years, and they're kind of like on hold, and anytime I meet them, we fuck. So technically, I could say 35 years, some of them are still around, right? Now, so when they're married for 7 years, like, what is that? 1/5 of this girl is chasing me in Tokyo right now. Like, 1/5 of our relationship is a whole marriage. And that's everything. That's top to bottom, beginning to end, all the bullshit in the end, all the fighting, the divorce, the court case. You basically tack on another 2 years. So 5 years marriage lasts. Reality. Right? And then that's the average. That's the average. It's just like the average person dies at 78 or something, right? You can't expect to live to 200. Like, it's not going to happen. So it's going to be around 78, right? So marriage is going to be around 7 years. Like, don't kid yourself. Like, don't think you're going to leave to 350 or Moses 600 or whatever. Like, don't think that way. That's not a good way to think. You're probably going to die anywhere from like 75 to 81. Or some people, the insurance companies say you live a certain amount of years after retirement, most guys, because they have no kind of, there's no plan for their lives, right? So there's numbers you can look at, right? So the marriages last 5 years, plus divorce, right? So now, are women always faithful in marriage? Like, what do you think? Are women always faithful? Probably not. The girls they ask on the internet, they'll like 40% will admit right away, publicly, to having cheated, right? And that's publicly. So you got to figure it's higher than that. It's higher than the ones, because girls do not brag about cheating publicly. That's a dangerous thing to do, because your husband might watch the video, right? Like, it's pretty risky to even admit it. If, like, say 40%, so let's tack on another 20, so let's say 60%. So 60% of women, this is kind of this is a good rough estimate. Nobody knows. So here's the thing. You can look it up on the internet all you want. You're not going to find the real number. Women will always lie about their previous sexual partners and about their sexual activity and their fidelity. Men will not. Men not as much. Because it's to us, it's kind of a little bit of an ego boost. But for women, they're going to definitely understand. If you don't know that, you're on the wrong channel. Like, that is the way it is. So marriages last 5 years. 60% of women, at least, are going to cheat. And I think it's like between 15 and 20% of children are not the father's kid. So think about that. We're not talking just kissing under the railway station or something. We're talking driving the dick deep in there and thrusting and shooting jizz all up inside there with no condom. And that's 15 to 20% of kids are not the fathers. Right? So that's not one time. That is like jizz being shot all over her face, all up in her ass and her box, many, many times. Lots of sweat, lots of practice. Right? That's what it takes. If you ever try to get anybody pregnant, you'll know. You got to be serious about it. Now, yeah, you got to be like a robot, a machine. You got to really get out there and make sure it happens. Because they're only fertile like 20 minutes a month. There's like a 20-minute window. So you got to be drilling them many times a day, every day, to get pregnant. And a lot of couples have trouble with it. It's not hard. It's not easy. And here's what makes you think it's easy, is because all the girls are always lying. So if you're asking a girl, like, when did you get pregnant? And like, say they're in high school, they'll be like, oh, one time, then I got pregnant. It was they might even say immaculate conception or whatever. There's spontaneous combustion or something. Something, right? But it's never going to be, I was drilled all the time, all over my face by all his friends. I don't even know who it is. That's more like the reality of today. So this is the marriage you're protecting, right? This is the sanctity, the married woman. Right? So should you bone a married woman? I mean, take aside the obvious part is, do women tell the truth about their partners? I can't even tell you how many chicks have told me that when I meet them, if they're interested in me, like I'll meet them at a bar or a park or whatever, and they'll always say like, oh, me and my husband, we're not really sleeping together anymore. He's we haven't had anything for years. We're just staying together for the kids. And then I know them for a few years, whether I bone them or don't bone them, and I find out it's totally bullshit. I meet the guy eventually, like, let's say, generally I won't bone. I'm not saying bone every married woman every time you get, like, you gotta listen to the whole thing, right? But I won't do it for whatever reason, usually because they're ugly, right? And I can't get hard on them, because most married women are disgusting. So don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you even can bone married women. I'm saying some of them are boneable, So, but if and then I'll find out later, the guy's like, oh yeah, my wife, and you'll be talking to him, and you'll realize he's totally in love, just like any normal husband. And I'm thinking, ooh, I got glad I didn't do it, So the thing is, when you meet a girl, if she wants to bone you, she's gonna lie. She's not married, she's single, they're divorced, and then you can ask to see the divorce papers, and they never want to show them because they're never real. It's always like, they had one fight. That's usually what it is. One fight, generally. She's in a bad mood. She's angry, and she's out on the town, and she met you. That's usually what it is. If she says they're not getting along, otherwise she wouldn't tell you. She's attracted to you, right? And then that's the other thing is, women that are attracted to you will lie to you a lot more about sex than women that aren't attracted to you. Because if they're not attracted to you, then there's no point. you know. But if they are attracted, then they're going to start telling you about this and that, because they know that guys have morals, right? And guys don't want to cause trouble. They don't want to cause harm. I don't want to cause harm, right? I'm not out there to cause harm. So you're a regular guy, okay? You're looking at the world. Now, who can you bone? Who's available? Well, you can't bone chicks that are totally ugly and fat, right? That's impossible. Just because you physically can't do it, right? So there's certain girls, right? So let's take those aside. So what percentage is that? What's the obesity rate?
70%.
70%? Okay, so let's say at least 50% of younger women are not even boneable.
Overweight or obese.
Yeah, they're not even boneable. Okay, 50% of single women are not even boneable. Okay, so then you say, well, I can't do married women. Okay, so now there's all the married women. There's a lot of married women. There's a lot of married women out there, especially in expensive areas like this. Yeah. Up at the Ritz-Carlton there, you're gonna have a lot of married women up there. Yeah, and you're not gonna find a lot of the homeless guys that are married, but up there you're gonna see a lot. Right? So you can't do them, okay? You can't do anybody who's under a certain age, right? You can't do obese just because you physically can't probably do it, right? It's not, you need to be attracted, right? So you can't do a married woman. Well, what about, let's look down the beach here. What about somebody who's holding hands with somebody else? Can you even talk to her in your mind? No, you can't even talk to her if she's holding hands with a guy. So you can't talk to her because she's holding hands. How about if they're laying down in, two towels next to each other? No, can't talk to them. No. So you can't talk to them. Now, how about a bunch of girls come together? Are you going to approach them and get a girl's number in front of all her friends? No, you're not. You want to, but maybe once in your life, but not very often. You're going to pass on it. Okay, so you're going to pass on it. Too hard. So you're kind of looking for the perfect opportunity, where she's single, she's attractive, she's not too young, she's not too old, she's not obese, she's not holding anybody's hand, she doesn't have a wedding ring on, she's not in a towel next to somebody else, she's not with a bunch of girls. So you're the one opportunity, you're in Starbucks or something, and there she is, and then she says she's got a boyfriend or whatever. So basically what happens is you paint yourself in a corner where you never get laid. So then what happens then? What happens after you can't get laid? You're gonna get married. You're gonna get married. That's what happens. This is what happens is you make it so difficult for yourself and so impossible that you think, well, the only way is if I really marry a girl, and then then we're gonna have sex. But then, even if you think about that, most marriages are sexless after a certain amount of years. I mean, they are. They're like statistically, sexless is less than once a month, and most marriages after a certain amount of years are sexless. So you can't have sex with a woman who's not having sex with anybody, and if you do marry somebody, then you can't have sex with anybody else because the rules apply to all the other girls. But your wife is saying no, so you can't have sex with her. So what options do you have? Like if you're trying to be a good guy, everyone's trying to be a good guy. So what options, what can you do? Like what? Shoot yourself in the head. Get a stubby gun, load it up, get a nice place like this. Yeah. Get a barbecue in your car, Okay, so, I mean, the thing is when you bone chicks, okay, it is a tough thing. Like, if you fuck girls, it is a hard business. It is hardcore. That's why most of the reason why guys don't have sex with girls is not because they have morals. Most of your morals are based on being afraid to approach women. and also fear, because the first thing you learn, this is one thing I learned in pickup, which was very valuable actually, is that you'll see a woman with a man, okay, and then you'll go up to him and say, hey, where'd you guys meet? How'd you guys? And they'll be like, oh, are you guys married? And they'll be like, oh, no, he's my brother, or like, this is my friend, or we work together. And like, usually when you see this, the first thing you learn pickup is that you have to approach girls with guns, because they're usually not with them. And usually what happens is sometimes it really goes well, because you'll come up to the girl and you'll say, or the guy, and you're both of them, and you'll say, hey, are you guys together? Are you guys married? And then the guy will say yes, and the girl will go, no. And then you look at him and you go, ha ha ha, you're trying to pull a fast one. And then you like talk to her, you say, hey, what's your name? And then she's gonna be stoked, right? Because they're not together, but he's just cock blocking. So you have to decide, are you gonna be the weak guy who is not even dating girls, but you allow him to cock block you because you don't have any balls? Like, is that what you want your life to be? Do you want that? Or do you want to be the guy who can say, no, that's not true. You guys aren't dating. And I'm going to talk to this girl, right? And she'll be attracted too. When the guy says yes and she says no, and then you go up to her, trust me, it turns around big time. Because it shows that you're a strong guy. And it sets a good tone for the relationship, actually. Because she knows that you're the kind of guy who has balls. You're not afraid. You're going to come up. You're going to fucking try. Okay, so this is not a pickup video, but it's something I learned in pickup, and it was a very valuable thing. And I no longer ever assume anything about people. When I see girls and guys together, I don't know. And I tell you, it's not just a mind game, it's true. Go up to girls and ask, and you will be shocked how many are not with their husbands, and they're not on a date. They literally have nothing. It's usually the guy's a total beta idiot who's just hoping, and they're friends, quote unquote, and he's the nice guy, and then he's just sitting there hoping that one year down the road she's gonna finally bone him someday drunk or something, right? That's usually what they're looking for, right? Now, I never bone girls drunk, so to me, boning a chick drunk is kind of taking advantage. I'm not into it. I like sober girls. I'm sober. I like to fuck girls sober. So my morals are different. These guys, they think they're so great, but then they'll just take advantage of a girl drunk right away, because now it's easy. Most of the guys' morals are because they're scared, or they don't, you know what I mean, or they're not they're not knowledgeable, they're not educated. Don't be afraid, man. Do not be afraid to approach women, even if you don't want women. Just don't be afraid. Just go do it anyway. It's a good exercise. So that's why. So here's one of my first points is I always tell guys, hey, don't get whores. I don't like whores. Go and pick up a girl, fuck a girl. And with that comes fuck married women. Like, if a woman really wants to fuck you, and I mean, I don't know, like I can't tell you what to do, and it's all sticky even for me. I know how it is. But if you see the girl's face and she really likes you, I've definitely boned married women in the past, and they were totally in love with me, and I found out everything about them. And like a lot of times they're not happy, and you start to sympathize with them too, because a lot of them, like I said, marriage ends in like 5 years, so they're usually leaving on their way out. So you're not gonna go in, okay? You're not such a great pickup artist that you're gonna go in to a perfect marriage, and you're just gonna blow her away. You're gonna blow her mind. She's gonna be just sopping wet. She's gonna throw her ring in the toilet, take a shit in there, and just ride you like right there. Like, that's not gonna happen. If that chick is happily married, she's happily fucking married. She's fine. She's not gonna do anything with you, right? If she's not on her way out, she's not gonna do anything with you. You really don't have to worry about it. It's the same thing I learned when I was headhunting. You don't have to worry about stealing any employees, because you call them, you offer an opportunity, and the guys that are looking to leave, they're the guys who come. The guys who don't want to leave are very happy in their jobs. They don't come. And so one of the things people will say headhunters are stealing people out of companies. It's impossible. If the guy's kicking ass and he's doing well and they're treating him nice, that guy is never going to leave. There's no reason for him to leave. It's only when he's unhappy. And do you want an unhappy wife? Do you want an unhappy employee? Is it good for you to have a moping, unhappy, bitch who's going to leave you soon anyway? Like, are you going to, you really think these things through. Use your brain. You only have one chance in this life. I'm serious. Like, you gotta have some pussy available. Otherwise, you're going to end up married. You got to give yourself some break. You got to have some kind of way of satisfying yourself. Or you're setting yourself up for failure. Because you're not going to be able to hold on. You're going to end up doing something you regret. I think a lot of guys turn towards same-sex relationships because they can't get laid. Like, I think it's really heavy. I think you really need to satisfy yourself, or you're going to look for other ways. I'm not saying anything is bad or good. I'm saying, like, just like the girl is happy in her marriage is not going to cheat. A guy who's totally like, if you're making yourself available, you're having opportunities, you're getting satisfaction in life, you're not going to do anything. You're not going to go across a line that you usually wouldn't go in. But if you're in prison for 30 years, you probably will. Because what other option do you have? And, that's not the optimal solution in life. You want to do what you want to do, what you want to do when you want to do it. If that's what you want, you should fucking go for it, totally. But if you don't make yourself so weak that you're a sitting duck to get married or to just be miserable. Like, look at the priests. What did they do? They didn't get anything, and look what they did. I mean, some pretty bad things can happen with sex. You got to be satisfied. It's important for your testosterone. And so, what do you do? What can you do in life, right? One thing you can do, a lot of married guys do, which is a pretty good option, hand job. Like they'll have the massage places. You go there. Here in America, usually Chinese girls working at the massage place. I think if you're gonna get paid satisfaction, I think the hand job girls, massage girls are one of the better ones. I think they're the least broken. My experience, and I lived in Asia for a long time, in areas where there was a lot of prostitutes, and my friends married them. I know these girls. Even though I wasn't into them, I was around them. And I can tell you this, the more they spread their legs for a man, the more broken they get. For random guys who are paying. If they just give a hand job, and you know this too if you think about it. Like, think back in junior high school. Some girl gave you a hand job. It was like no big deal. She didn't fall in love with you after the hand job. It was just no big deal, right? Now, if you fucked her, she's going to fall in love with you much more often, right? She's going to want to be your girlfriend. That's the way it is. There's something in a girl's body. She gives a hand job, then the next step is a blowjob. So in Bangkok, they got blowjob bars. Tokyo, they got blowjob bars. And in a blowjob bar, you go in there, and they basically give you a wipe. My friend Eric gave me the full lowdown. It was called Dr. BJ's. There used to be a place called Dr. BJ's in Bangkok. And Eric, my friend, loved it. And he said he'd go in there, and basically she'd hand you like a handy wipe. You'd wipe yourself up. You'd look at all the pretty girls. You'd pick one. And then she'd come over and be really nice, wearing a nurse's uniform or whatever. Yeah, like a pink nurse's uniform. And then she would let you touch her titties or pull your titties out and stuff. And then she'd give you a blow, and then you'd leave, and it would be over very quickly, pretty quickly. And a lot of married guys, that's what they do, because they're sexist. So they need something, so they get that. I think for single guys, that's a pretty good option if you're in a country where it's cheap. If you're paying $80 and then a $30 tip, I don't know about that. But if you have a way to get this cheap somehow, that's a pretty good option. I'm not against that. I'm not against that. Because you're getting a pretty high quality girl. Not so broken, not so fucked up. Right? And then it's in and out, it's cheap. Like, in a lot of countries, it's going to be like $20. Yeah, $20, that's it. Start to finish, $20. For $20, I think that's a pretty good investment. If you live in an area where that's possible, I think that's a pretty good. I think if you don't give yourself that kind of satisfaction, and you never think about these things, life is going to take over and find a way for you to get it. and you're going to end up in a situation. Because see, the thing is, when guys get married, they think they're in love. It's because they're not getting sex most of the time. So they fall in love because they're not. So then the girl, they associate all those good feelings with her. Like when I was with tons of girls at the same time, I didn't feel in love with them as much. Because it was like, it felt good and everything, but it was like, I was more realistic about it, right? And then the less I'm with women, the farther away I am, the more I do tie that to them. So it's important for a guy, any guy, even me, any guy, doesn't matter. You got to make sure that you put yourself in a safe situation. And I think a safe situation is when you realistically think about your sexual desire, who you are as a man, what you need, come up with the solution that works for you. Find a way. Don't let fate take care of it, because fate will not be good to you. You will find yourself falling in love, and the girl's like ugly and you know it, and she's overweight and you know it, but she gives you that satisfaction, and that just skews everything. And then of course, a couple years after marriage, you know, when you're looking at her and you're not having sex anymore, you're going to realize, okay, what came over me? And what came over you was your own self. You didn't plan for the reality of your life, you know? There was no demon took you over. It's not your testosterone. After this episode, you should know. It's what's going to happen to you. It will happen to me. It happens to every man. You need a way. You need a solution, you know? And I think, of course, jerking off to porn on the internet is a good solution. You know, we didn't have the internet before. It's pretty good, you know, pretty good solution. But it's not everything. You're going to need more than that. You're going to somehow need more than that. Somehow. Somewhere, somehow. And the thing is, here's the thing. In defense of whores, you know, is that they're just women who take money. So I know guys live in Bangkok. They've screwed whores for like 30 years. And they were the kind of guys who went there in their 50s. Now they're 80. And they were very bad with women. They didn't know anything about women. I met them when I went there in the beginning. And they were just totally clueless. And I'm telling you, now they're pretty smooth. Yeah, 30 years of boning hot chicks, even though they were paying them. Somehow, I got to admit it, it's true. They eventually got pretty smooth. And they're totally different guys than they were. It's kind of amazing. So I didn't go that route. And, you know, I don't know if that's the route to go, but I respect what they learned. They know women. They're tough on women. Yeah, they're tough. They got boundaries. Yeah, they're not fucking around. They're serious guys. They're fun to talk to. They're fun to hang out with. Even though they're older. Yeah, totally cool. I respect that. I'm not saying it's my route. And here's the thing. Here's one of the problems. Is when I tell stuff on Ronin Man, part of it is I'm telling you because I think it's the best way to think. It's the best mindset. So what do I mean by that? Technically, we're all going to die. Okay? And no one's going to remember us. Right? You don't even remember your own family members 4 generations back. Okay, so no one's going to remember you. Okay? You don't know the names of anybody 4 generations back in your family, right? So no one's going to remember you. Okay? And everything you did is going to go away. All the people you knew, they're gone. All the things you built, they'll be torn down. You know, your car will be gone. You know, 4 generations. And let's say 100 generations. That's nothing. In time, that's nothing. You will be forgotten. And you will die. And it could be today. Okay? Those are all true. But does that mean you should do nothing with your life? Or that you should kill yourself? Should you get a job? Should you have friends? Should you eat good food? Should you go to nice places like we are? You know, should you cruise around? Should you write poetry? Should you have fun? Should you save money? Should you get into certain things in life? You know, body surfing. Should you learn languages? Technically, you're going to die. No one's going to remember you. And you're going to be gone. So if you're going to just take reality, and you'll probably die alone. Probably. No matter how many friends you are, odds are you'll die alone. So does that mean you have no friends? This is the way people think. They think so black and white. It's like, dude, life is about the moment. It's about right now. We're right here. It's a beautiful day. It's a nice day. We're going to go in the water. We're going to body surf. you know, and we're going to have a nice fucking day. Hanging out with Sean doesn't mean just because I'm going to die someday. It doesn't mean, I mean, yes, logically, yes, it does mean nothing. There's no meaning to it. But it's fun. And I enjoy it. And that's what I'm going to do. You know. So you might say, oh yeah, well, with women, right? Well, what would be like a thing someone would say? I was thinking of something, I can't think of it. But like, they're this, they're that. Yeah, okay. A lot of women do a lot of things. But that doesn't mean you don't gain anything from hanging out with them ever. You know, like having sex is good for you. It's very good for your testosterone. It's good for your self-esteem. It's, you know, it's good for a lot of things. Good for your confidence, just in getting jobs and friends. And you'll see after a good, you know, sex session with a new girl, you know, you'll find yourself walking a little straighter. Now, logically, you're going to die someday and it doesn't matter, but does that mean that you don't feel good that day? Or you feel confident and that's cool? It's like, you don't use that same, you only say it about women. You never say it about work and friends and money. It's like you're just using it when it's convenient because you're afraid. You're afraid of talking to women. You're afraid of getting hurt until you're like, oh no, I'm not going to do it because it has no meaning, right? But then meanwhile, I'm going to save money. Well, it has no meaning. Well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to buy that fancy motorcycle. It doesn't mean anything. No one cares. It's going to break down, you know. But you still go buy it, right? It's because you're just using it. And think about why you're using it. Using it because you're afraid. Like, I'm not afraid. I still get a charge out of approaching women. I mean, I do. It's always hard. It's never easy. Oh yeah, it's always like, I mean, especially a hot one. You know, it's hot to me. You know, it's always exciting. A little bit exciting. Yeah. Oh yeah. Even after all these years. You know, and so that's something, right? And whatever happens, you know, like, you know, like half the planet's women, like, fuck, I don't know. And like I was just thinking the other day, right? So I went to the sunglass shop. I got myself some new sunglasses. Right, so I was down there and went to the shop. Girl, right away, I could tell she was my type. Right away, I was like, oh, this girl. And I said, hey, where you from? She goes, oh, I just moved here from Florida with my husband. Right? She was like 24, you know, 24 years old, very young, moved here from Florida. Right? And I said, oh, you know, I said, have you been around? You been to the beach? She's like, no, you know, I haven't. She hadn't been anywhere. So she got a part-time job. Obviously, he's like a low-level guy in the Marines. There's a Marine base. And she's working at this gift shop. And he's probably deployed somewhere. She's bored out of her mind. And I went in there and I thought, because I have a pretty good sensor. And I'm like, ooh, I like this girl. I can tell. She's my type. Right. So then I left and I didn't buy the glasses. And I went back just to check them again. And then she was like, oh, happy I was there. I could tell. And then I didn't buy them. And then I said, we might come back. I don't know. And she looks at me when I go out there. She goes, come back. And she like totally like, I could tell she was totally into it. Totally. Just like I thought. Just like I felt about her. I'm like, this girl's my type. And I'm her type. And I'm like, holy shit. And she's super young. And she's super bored. Like definitely bored. Now, I didn't bone her yet. And I probably won't, just because I'm leaving. And when a girl's my type, I usually like to bone her for more than, you know, for a while. I like to bone her for a few years, you know. And I guarantee, well, I don't know where, you know, what city she's originally from, but probably some small town where she got married young, and very likely, like if you look at the Marines' wives, a lot of them get divorced. Yeah, so she probably won't be married to this guy very long. So I know this logically. But at the same time, I don't like one night stands that much. I like more like long term, you know, because it causes a lot of, I guess, if you're going to say damage, it causes a lot of damage to one night stand. Because then she's longing for you and you're longing for her. And better just to let it kind of go through its course. And then usually it kind of mellows out. She loses interest. She goes back to whatever she was doing. Everything works out fine, right? Now, it's always a conundrum for me too. You know, should I do it? Should I not? And you're going to have your own challenges, you know, when you're honest with yourself. Oh, yeah, here's the other thing. Oh, God, here's the worst thing. guys fuck married women all the time, but they don't even know they're married because the women lie and say they're single, or they say we're living separately, we're breaking up. All this stuff. It's all this stuff to get you to get over your moral thing to fuck them. Actually, they're totally have a normal relationship. Most of them. Yeah. Now it doesn't last very long. Only lasts a few years, but anyway, in that period, they're kind of in that mode. I don't know. I guess it's up to you. You know, I mean, it's up to me. I've had married some very special times with married women in my life. You know, some really good relationships. You know, sometimes they left their husband, sometimes they stayed with them, sometimes they told him, sometimes they didn't. You know, a lot of guys will say, you know, you're gonna get killed, and it's kind of a way just to threaten somebody without saying it. You know, I haven't found that to be the case. I haven't found a lot of husbands go and try to kill the guy, because usually the husbands know. The wife, she's the one that makes the decision. You know, and they start to say, "Hey, honey, you know, what am I not doing?" You know, it wasn't really the guy. The guy did not steal the employee who is getting promoted and loves his job, right? It's like something's going on, or something could be going on because she's not a very loyal girl, and he knows that too. And you're not going to change that. You're not going to make her loyal. You're not going to make her loyal. How can you do that? You know, I think back, like, you know, most chicks that you're boning, you're not supposed to. Somehow, you know, like most of them, you're kind of not supposed to. You know, I don't know. Think back to your girls. How many of them were totally clean slate, clean title?
Zero.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, pretty much zero. Yeah, and when I would be with a girl, she would say, "Oh yeah, you know, I just broke up with him like 2 days ago or whatever." 2 years later, I found out actually she broke up 2 days later, after I was with her. And then she was like, she tried to twist it. "Oh yeah, didn't I say 2 days later? I thought Are you sure I said 2 days before? I don't think that's what you heard, you know."
No, that's what you got to say. Yeah. The smooth answer is, man, I'm so stupid. You did say 2 days after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's what you said. That's actually a very smart, very key thing. Whenever a girl is trying to, that you like, she likes you and you're together for a while, and she's talking about the first date, whatever she says, just agree with her. I learned the hard way one time with a girl. I had a very, very, very hot girl. Very, very attractive girl. And then she came back and boned me after 10 years. We hadn't seen each other. And then she said, "Yeah." She said, "I can't believe it. You're the only guy we had sex on the second date." And I was like, "No, it was the first date." And she's like, she looks up, she's all like dreamy. I just fucked her. She goes, "The second date, I can't believe I did a second date with you." I was like, "No, it's the first date." And then I was like, "Yeah, it was definitely, you know." And then I was just like, oh my God, because usually I'm smooth, but I was just not smooth that day. And I was like, oh no. I never saw her again. It was sad because she was totally hot. She was totally in love with me forever. Because we dated a long time. And then she went off, and then I saw her again. She still looked hot. She was like 19 when I met her. So she was probably, by then, I don't know what she was by then. In her 20s still. In her 20s. And still hot as fuck. She studied fashion design. She was so hot. Oh my God. This chick was smoking this girl. And I messed it up because I wasn't smooth. So be smooth. Yeah. Let the girl have some pride. If she's telling you about a first date, you just go, "Oh yeah." Or whatever. You say, "Oh yeah, let's get some food." Yeah, whatever. You don't have to go along with it. Just don't directly contradict her.
No, I learned that.
Yeah.
I know that now. Oh
yeah. Yeah, no, it's a lesson you got to learn, right? It's a tough lesson. Because I was, see a girl that high, I was super stoked to fuck her on the first day. You know, because I literally met her in the gym. She was on the leg spreading machine. You know, the one where you spread your legs. The girls are on it. They use it, and it's for the muscles in the pussy or something. Yeah. And then she's on the leg spreading machine. I got her number. I met her. We walked to my house. It was a 15-minute walk. and I fucked her. I had a cup of
What did you
coffee.
say to her while she was doing the machine?
No, what happened was, no, she was so hot I couldn't talk to her. I was all tongue-tied. So I went to the locker room, and my friend said, "Did you get her number?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't," And he's like, "You idiot," because I was like, here's the thing, is no matter how good you are at pickup, there's certain girls that are so fucking hot, they will turn you into a blubbering mess. Every man, there is some girl who will turn you into a blubbering mess. So you get over it with the other ones. That's a secret of pickup girls. Is you do get very good at approaching girls, but it's partly because you've seen so many women now, you realize they're not that hot. You know what I mean? And so it's easy for you. You know what I mean? So, but for me, like, she was just too hot. She was on fire. She was lighting the whole building on fire. And like, so then he went up to her with me and he said, "This is my friend. He likes you. Give you his number. Give him your number. We got to go." And then she's like, "Oh." And then she started talking to me and then he laughed. Yeah, he helped me out on that one. That was good. You got to have friends. Because the thing is, no matter how good you are, like I said, it's just the challenge of the girl. Because it's not a challenge. You might not have thought she was as hot as I thought she was. You probably would, actually, this one. But you might not, for whatever, everybody has different tastes, right? But for me, she turned me into a blubbering mess because she was just too hot for me. I'm like, oh my God, this is like 100 levels over, like, over angel level here. What the fuck am I going to do with this one? I haven't seen any girl that hot for years. I haven't seen a girl that hot for a long time. It's not very often. But he helped me out. And I got her number and that was it. And there was one date. And then the added value with her is that she was totally in love with me, which is not usual. She was head over heels. Yeah. And that was cool. So that's the other thing I wouldn't have known. Right? I wouldn't know that she's not with him, for example. I also wouldn't know that a girl that hot could fall in love with me that deep for that long. But she did. Not all of them do, that's for sure. And they're definitely not as hot as her. But you never know. I'm glad I had her. I'm glad. I'm still going to die one day, but I'm still glad I fucked her. I'm glad I fucked Michio, man. She was a sweetheart. She was a fucking sweetheart. And so don't box her in a corner. Don't be so judgmental. Realize that you crossed the line. Have morals. So I never have ever, not once in my entire life, fucked a friend's wife or girlfriend. Ever. And I never would. I don't care if you died and we were on an island for the rest of our life. I wouldn't fuck her. Like, I just won't. I made that decision. I will not fuck my friend's wife or girlfriend. Exes, nothing. I won't do it because there's no benefit. Because I know that you might get jealous at some point in the future. Even though you're cool with it now, like 10 years later, 5 years later, a year later, it might bother you. And I don't want that to happen. My friendship's always number one. When I go out with my boys, it's me and them. We're having fun. And if we meet girls, that's great. I am not there like, oh my God, here's this girl. Even with that girl that was that hot, I just left. She was totally into it too. But I just got her number and left. Because I was with my friend. That's the way I operate. So I have very strict morals. So if you know me, it's impossible. I could not do it. I would not do it. I will not do it. Okay. And I don't know any other guys that are as strict as I am. I've never met a guy who's as honest and strict as I am on this one. I've never met a guy. I'm sure there's somewhere. But most guys, they won't fuck her while you're married to her. But then the minute she's single again, they will. And I'm telling you, from a red pill perspective, it's the same thing. You guys will always have a thing. If you were married to her, you're always going to have a thing with her. You're always going to have a connection. And she will always have a connection with you. Because you had something with her. It doesn't make any sense, but it's the truth. I respect that. And because I respect that, that's why guys want to go out with me. Because they know that's my morals. Now, if I don't know the guy and the girl wants to fuck me, then it's fine. I'm gonna do it. You know? Don't fuck guys' exes. Don't even look at him. Don't flirt with him. Don't do it. Don't do it. I guess if the guy dies, if the guy, you know what I mean? If a guy dies, you go to his funeral, and you know what I mean? Maybe you could do it then. I don't know. Maybe after he's dead. Maybe it's okay. You know. He's no longer with us. You know. But I think it's kind of a cheesy thing to do, even then. You know. Why not let sleeping dogs lie? Let sleeping sluts lie. You know. They're sleeping now. Just let them sleep. You know. Don't go in there. Get a new one. Get the balls to go down and pick up a new one. That's right. That's right. Just fucking down to the beach. There's tons of girls. Tons. Yeah, there's going to be tons of girls down here. Tons of girls in LA. You know, tons of girls everywhere. Tokyo, Bangkok. Why do it? Why do it? But if you box yourself in a corner like most guys, think about it. How many girls that you meet every day can you fuck? Like how many? Like there's a girl with her parents, right? Like would you go up and get her number in front of the parents? I would. Yeah. Because the parents, if the parents care about her and she's single, they'll be, oh, this is a good guy. He's willing to come up. He's got the balls to come up to you in front of us. And they're going to back off. She's an adult. They're going to back off. And they'll be like, wow, that guy. And the mother will be like, holy shit, this guy's ballsy. You know, the mother will be like, oh, I like him. You know, he seems like a good boy. You know, something, right? So I say, don't box yourself in. Have your own rules. You know, I don't know if I'm going to fuck this married girl that's up at the sunglass shop or not. I know if I see her anywhere besides there, I will. If I run into her, I'll consider it fate and I'll fuck her for sure. But and I did see her one time. I was at Starbucks and she looked in the window and she came over and I knew, I'm like, oh God, damn it. So if I see her again like that, then I'm definitely gonna get her number and then we'll see. But it depends. Again, beggars can't be choosers. I'm a guy. I'm a man. When it comes to sex, men are beggars. No matter how hot the guy is, men are beggars. The girls are the deciders. They decide who they're going to have sex with. If your wife or your friend's wife is having sex with another guy, that's because she's not happy. And she's not loyal. Very little to do with the guys. You're with the wrong woman. Marriage is a shame. She doesn't love you. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with, some guy came in and just defied gravity, burned the laws of physics to the ground and just blazed his way. And, like when you go out there, do the girls just like pull down their pants when you walk by and let you fuck them in the train or whatever? No. They're the decider. You want to do that. You want them to do that. They're not going to do that because they're the decider. Right? But all of a sudden when they're married, you're the decider. It's like, it's bullshit, dude. It's total bullshit. Get this bullshit out of your mind. Clear your mind out so you can have real moral dilemmas in front of you. And if a married woman tells me something that is a serious moral dilemma, I'm listening. You know what I mean? It depends on what it is, right? I'm going to listen. I'm in the moment. If I feel it's wrong, I'm not going to do it. It won't turn me on. So I don't know if that's helpful. Did I miss anything? No? All right, guys. We're at, this is a place called Salt Creek in Southern California. It's so beautiful, man. It's going to get real. There's like no waves today, but there should be later. Usually this place goes off. It's super pretty. We're going to go out there body surfing. We're in Orange County looking down there. Let's see. Where is it? Where am I looking? I'm looking the wrong way. Oh, where is it? Oh, there. Okay. I don't want to get Sean in the video. Just giving you guys a view here. Yeah, you can see the fishing boats and divers. There's divers out there, fishing boats. Sunday, fucking nice. Yeah, we were talking yesterday, like it's nice to go to places where people go on dates as a single guy or with your friends. These are cool places to go. You don't have to be tied to a girl, you don't have to pay money, and you can pick up a girl, you can get her number, right? Because they're gonna be here. There's gonna be tons of hot girls as it gets hot, as it warms up today. So, yeah, don't box yourself in, man. Don't box yourself in.